exact event in the same way. I'm gonna still trust that STMN have enough in the tank, have enough to pull out of their bag of tricks to where they can get this one done. But it's gonna be a close one nonetheless, fellas. I'm excited for y'all to cast this one.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. Thanks so much, Kenny. We'll meet you on the other side. And if Reddy's wrong, we'll both make fun of him. But for now, we're going to Hot Zone. Parallel plays. Just kidding, Reddy said I would never make fun of you.
That's a lie and a half, but it's okay because we're friends. We're chill with each other. Parallel plays. Let's talk about it. I'm expecting some aggro down the right side. I wonder if we'll see the Sam once again. I don't know. It could be a bit crazy to. Oh my God!
There it is.
I was gonna say it's crazy to call this far in advance, but STMN, they're a little crazy.
Yeah, I feel that. I want you to drop the knowledge on me for the Jessie. We've seen the Jessie not just once, twice, but a couple of times here today, and she's always struck me as a brawler that has a hard time finding a spot in the competitive meta. Obviously, the bounce shot, I feel like, has to be what you're talking about, but why Jessie?
Jessie got kind of a buff because her pet is stronger now, so that thing has a whole lot more health. It's tougher to get rid of, and like you said, she's able to bounce off of it, and she's also able to replenish the health on it. So you might have to work pretty hard for that super, but once it's up, it's going to be pretty reliable for farming up any enemies that are trying to get into your spawn or get towards that point that's on your side. So that's kind of why I like the selection. Everyone's going to have some different reasons, and I'm sure Luminosity themselves have their set of reasons why they like this brawler so much, but Patchy has a history of
That's fair. That is very fair. Patchy does play it. I actually like this big picture team composition. Team fights are going to be a little silly for Luminosity here. If Chino gets the ideal situation here is Chino gets a giant super, Charles lights everybody on fire, and Patchy just ring bounces through everybody. That's super fun. Of course, you really got to make that happen. But on Hot Zone, you're hoping everybody groups up. So might actually work out. Across the way, we've got Bobby, Sans, and Czar playing the Bee, the Sam, and the Squeak. And I love Squeak, area denial when it comes down to Hot Zone. I mean, that's pretty much all I say when it comes to this game mode. The Sam is interesting to me. You were very excited about it. I find Sam extremely map dependent, more so than other tanks. Do you think this is his map?
Yeah, I think he's, well, okay. It's his map as long as you don't break down those bushes on the right side. I think that terrain, I mean, you said map dependent, and if you change the way the map looks, it's going to have a serious impact. They don't have any wall break except for Chino, but I don't see him wasting a super on that 2x2 block on the right side. I want to talk about the draft for just a moment, but only with regard to, like, dude, this should be studied in a classroom. There is so much going on here. Everything has numerous purposes. This is just brilliant between the two. Some of the best drafting minds in the world on both sides of this arena. But so far, Luminosity Gaming, they do have the distinct advantage. They're actually doing a great job of defending this right lane.
Yeah, for real. They're a third of the way done, and Stamina has not really sat down at the table just yet. Of course, they do have their safe one on their side, opting to be more aggressive. But their aggression hasn't really paid off at all. I really like Charles's use of the oil here to keep players either all the way far left or close to where LG is. Lights it on fire, takes down Sans. LG half of the way done. Still pushing forward though. And Patchy trying to deal with Bobby. Operative word, trying.
Luminosity Gaming. I mean, if they're able to ignore Bobby on this point, then they could have this one in the bag. They're going to have to shove Czar and Sans off the left point. Bobby has to get pinched in order for him to be dealt with. No one really to pinch with. Patchy's going to try and work on that turret. Bobby forced over to Chino and a takedown, but still, Chino falls. Luminosity Gaming once more on the defense. They need to find some way to get some kind of offense in here. It's going to be tough versus Sans. No pets left for Chino, no gadgets at all. Bobby also dispelled on the right side. Now it's time to move in. Charles now with the oil. Czar lit on fire. That's the last of him. And Sans all the way taken down. Bobby, the one-man army, still once more taken down by the Tara Super. Luminosity Gaming, they might be able to finish it here.
Well, Stamina were down a lot to a little, and now just separated by kind of one or two plays. Charles is going to fall down as Bobby steps up. But Bobby gets taken out by the enemy Chino, and that might be it now, especially with Sans falling down. We did see a 99% comeback before, but I don't think it's happening here. LG, game 1 of the Grand Final.
The first pick, considering you have nothing to respond to, except for maybe some enemy bans or maybe bans of your own. Luminosity Gaming, first game victory. Now try to replicate their success in game number 2. STMN need to adapt on the fly, look for a different strategy. They double up on the right side. Early force of Apache into that right side. Yes, he might be lit on fire, but he gets easy heals with his super and the star power.
This is what Stamina were trying to do in game 1 and just lost a couple of duels. They didn't step on their point at all. They wanted to be turbo aggressive. Nice job by Bobby. And just lock the opponent in the closet. And right now, that's what they're doing. They can go ahead and take the difficult point now and then fall back and kind of put their feet up while they take the easy one. That's the game plan. Didn't work out last time. Ready? I commend them for trying it again.
Oh, and I think they also made a pretty significant adaptation this time. Sands gave a lot on Bobby's lane. And this time, Bobby was actually able to do a lot better into Chino in those earlier interactions. But now with Charles and Chino looking for the pinches, will be a little bit more successful. Zar also is completely shutting down the spawn point on the left side. That's basically what Squeak is built to do here.
Yep.
Luminosity Gaming, they were having some struggles into it earlier, but now that Zar has no residue left, they will be able to force things forward on the left side, but they can't lose sight of really the bigger play, which is Bobby on the right.
Well, Bobby gets aggressive, but doesn't have help from his teammates. Looked like a miscommunication there. And so the melee hero falls down. And now Tara gets the bump bop. And the melee brawler falls down again. Luminosity hasn't stepped well. There they are. They're stepping on the point, but they are being kept at bay a little bit by Stamina. That said, Charles shows up on the left. Charles shows up on the right. Double kill for the flamethrower. And even though Bobby is up front, Luminosity still hanging out on the point down south.
Really, the win condition for Luminosity Gaming, at least in the SAM department, is get Chino to reliably 3-shot Sam. And that's tough when Sam is able to heal up even above that 8,000 health if he manages to heal while you're firing off those 3 shots in an early game interaction. Chino's trying to get him away from these walls in order to accomplish that. Here it is. Bobby not going to stay alive. Zar also falls. A double kill for Chino.
Trouble.
Luminosity Gaming now get to wreak havoc on this last point. But Bobby and Sand still look so threatening on the right.
Listen, it's just 5% that Stamina need to get done, but it is not guaranteed. If LG put up a good defense, Stamina might not be able to get there. Chino slowed, but Sans look at Apache. Falling down are both players, and there's 16 seconds left. LG can still make this happen, and I would like to see it. But instead, it's Stamina keeping them at bay, counting down from 5. Sands gets a kill on Charles. Zar gets a kill on Patchy, and that be that. We're going to game 3.
They have all 3 brawlers defending it, then yeah, you're going to have a really hard time getting through. You don't have that much time to roll back out, make things happen once again. Bobby, though, catapults forward on the right side. Yet another lane switch from STMN. They put Zar at the middle this time and Sands on the left lane. They're kind of trying to mix things up to make sure that Luminosity Gaming don't have the leg up on them.
Bobby. Oh, man. I was setting myself up for some real cool stuff, but now it just looks like I wasn't talking. Bobby just pushed forward, almost made a big splash, but winds up dying at the last moment. LG leading, but again, that's kind of by Stamina's design. They're looking for more aggressive plays and defending their own home spot. Now that plan has gone awry, and they have to turn things around. Bobby on the defensive, getting assaulted by Patchy. Charles gets the last hit, but that was all Patchy, baby. Zar winds up finding a kill as well, ready. But LG in the driver's seat.
LG really in control until Sands pops down the honey molasses and manages to sneak around the corner towards you, but he's already all out. Not a single gadget remaining. He's going to have to get this the hard way. Zar also fresh out of gadgets. Luminosity Gaming still 2 brawlers remaining with gadgets of their own. Chino doesn't have the shades, and that's definitely going to hurt in some of these interactions with Sands. He's going to try and get the jump on Bobby, not going to be successful. Patchy also slowed down, not going to become Bobby's next victim, though, and continues healing up this turret. It's tough for Sands to deal with, but he does manage to break through. We finally see the final honey molasses break down the left side. Luminosity Gaming could make their push through. They have a significant lead so far.
right now, nobody really making any moves. Where is the entry point is the question. Ton of time on the clock. So neither team really pressured to make said move. Bobby kind of locked down, but pushes Chino away easily, and that might be the entry point. Luminosity is a little over-aggressive. Bobby punishes. Can Stamina make a play off of that is the question. And the answer seems like no, Ready, Set. Stamina still trailing by under 10%. So with a half a minute to go, Stamina do have a chance, but LG on the upside.
Luminosity Gaming know the plays on the back right point. Bobby falls, only 20 seconds remain. It's enough time for Bobby to respawn, make one final jump for that enemy side. Charles is trying to sneak up on the left. They might be out of position. Bobby has to be addressed on the right. Just 10 seconds left, now counting down. Patchy and Chino combine forces. Sands falls as well. The spins are out, and Luminosity Gaming take back the set.
In and in and in and in and in.
It was a little more drawn out, I would say, on the other lanes. Is basically the
there you
main
okay
takeaway here. Yeah, and I completely understand. I was more focused on Luminosity Gaming getting an average of 15 kills per player as well. That was serious stuff. But in the end, I mean, there's a lot of kills on Bobby because he's the one in all the time, just kind of feeding those kills, feeding those supers, not for free, still having to work for them, but making them a lot more easily available. Safe Zone now coming in, and if you listen to that interview with Toast, you'll note that, well, he acquired some very special knowledge from Luminosity when it came down to the SAM. They ran RBM on the SAM. It was wonderful, and they picked that up from Luminosity Gaming. Looks like STMN also were listening quite carefully because they banned out the SAM.
That's true. I like that tidbit as well. We got a chance to talk to Kenny, or Kenny got a chance to talk to Toast, and he by name shouted out Patchy for giving them the SAM tech like literally yesterday or something. And so this is where the SAM tech kind of originated. I keep saying SAM tech. There's no tech, guys. They just play the brawler, and he does good. And so now we've got the Brock and the Eve next to each other. Eve, always a staple of Safe Zone, able to kind of maneuver a little bit better than everyone else. And we have... Hey, what's the lore between Piper and Belle? I feel like they are grandma and granddaughter.
I don't know of any lore. I will tell you, though, that, I mean, like, something definitely went right if Belle is the one raising Piper because, you know, she's a goody two-shoes and Belle is a literal bank robber. So, I don't know. Do with that information what you will.
I don't know. Piper has a bunch of bombs in her pocket, so...
You know what? You might be on.
But the two long-range sharpshooters combined with the Colonel Ruffs, this is, like, a very vanilla composition. This is like what, you know, this is like 101, right? But I love it. I have nothing to complain about here. Just, you know, don't get jumped on by Daryl is probably what you have to think about. And so LG with a great last pick here to counter what Stamina has brought. It's going to be tough to stay out of the way of LG.
Yeah, I think this one, I mean, I'm very tempted to say LG just have the draft here, but Stamina, I think, knows something that a lot of the audience doesn't. I think, especially in North America, if you're just listening to the people, say, playing Power League, and yeah, it's not BSC, but Piper, she's kind of hated at the moment in some corners, just because she's pretty straightforward to counter a lot of times, and Daryl is definitely a brawler that comes to mind. Roll right up on her. See what you can accomplish. Also playing that into the Eve that can get some hatchlings spawn. Though she will be a little bit outranged by both Sands and Bobby. So there's that to consider too. She won't be able to peek around the walls too effectively. And Patchy, he's chilling.
He's vibing.
Yeah, he's definitely Daryl. Hanging out, waiting for that super to auto-charge because there's no point in peeking his head out. He doesn't provide any pressure when he doesn't have the super. He would just end up feeding enemy supers, especially to Zar.
Wow, he comes, rolls on in. That's exactly what he was looking for. Gets the kill, and then, well, takes a spill. But the rest of the squad does the damage. 25% and then some for LG off of a single Daryl push.
Love the use of rocket laces from Chino as well. Oof. Nasty shot there to take him down. Patchy also dispelled in enemy territory. Good shots in from Bobby and Sands. Whole lot of damage on their side. Zar and Bobby both under the effects the supply drop promoted by Colonel Ruffs. Another treat on the left side for Sands to make sure that this roster is all buffed up health-wise and damage-wise by 30%. Luminosity Gaming, this is going to be tough for them. Chino and Charles are already outranged by Bobby and Sands. Patchy's just going to have to leverage this roll on the right side, and you got to respect the roll, but still he's not able to connect with that safe.
We got a minute to go, and still like a ton of Brawl to be played. STMN actually having a lead now. Chino launches the super, hits nothing. And Bobby finds the kill across the way. Patchy's still waiting for that super. Very super dependent for sure.
Let's see what Stamina can accomplish. Already, a lot more damage in on that safe. Zar also sneaking around the right side. Could be an easy takedown of the safe. Patchy's going to try and deal with him. It looks like no, actually goes straight for Bobby. He's going to go for the base race. He knows that there's not much time left as they're fighting the clock with Zar on the back line. So tough to deal with. Just a few more shots in will seal the deal. And Bobby sneaks in the final shot right between.
Really matters here. Like the tier list takes it, like every time you consume a tier list, you have to take into account the individual play. If you are terrible at the #1 quote unquote brawler, he's not #1. It's just that simple. And so wherever Piper is, we'll ask Ash later, but wherever Piper is on the tier list, Bobby's is higher. And so that really does matter. And I think that really came into account last game. Patchy should have the clean and clear counter, and did at times, but only at times.
Luminosity Gaming, they're waiting for their opportunity to push in with Patchy. He's got to be cautious about pushing into Zar. Maybe if Zar switches over a different lane, he would be more apt to push in. But he's worried about feeding those supers to Colonel Ruffs. It was devastating for Luminosity when they had to play versus 30% buff to enemies for basically the entire match in the last game. Here he comes, though, rolling up to mid. Just looking to maybe make some way for his teammates. Chino also trying to get some of this in. The Gurky super as well to get a lot of damage on that safe. Luminosity Gaming with a big lead, but they've all fallen. It's just going to be Daryl to try and tank some of these shots. Chino now respawning just in time. This is good timing from Luminosity Gaming, but they still have to fend off this enemy push.
Patchy falls down, and here come the long-range sharpshoot damage. 44% remaining here for LG's safe. Eve actually coming through in the clutch. You know I hate Eve, but I think this is a map where her water walking is huge. There's only two, especially with these unbreakable walls. So important to have that left lane open up for the Eve player. But Luminosity still trailing by about 20%, give or take. And it looks like Stamina on another push. Patchy superless after that play. And that's really what you're looking at. This whole match revolves around the Daryl super.
He's gonna have to get another. Chino's trying to push up Bobby and Sands, or rather just Bobby is buffed up. He has a super if he needs to escape. Just a few seconds left. Luminosity would need a big push, but it looks like they're out of time. Patchy's gonna roll through. Puts a whole lot of resistance awaiting him. Chino could get the big damage boosted super in, but he's still gotta make his way through. Zar, a little bit of damage. Charles gonna go for it. Chino much of the same, but 53%.
Shots, and so, yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. Big thumbs up. Next up, Flaring Phoenix. We'll try our hand at Knockout.
See what they've been cooking this whole time. Flaring Phoenix, a fun map to watch, to play. It seems like it can be kind of painful. You have throwers at play. You also have some pretty consistent mid-lane picks. And also you have the third strategy of, hey, let's just wait till the end and we'll turtle up. Note some of the bans too, but the first selection, turtle. Good, consistent brawler. Yeah, the turtle strategy seems to be pretty viable, and looks like Luminosity have been clued into that.
Absolutely. Gonna go ahead and park the Pam.
Ooh.
The Barley thrower actually kind of throws a wrench in our analysis there. Barley not exactly the sit at home and vibe type guy, but we'll see how LG finishes up their draft. As Zar shows up with the Gus, and we've got Bonnie showing up as well. So long range shots. And then, of course, Bonnie. I really like Bonnie on Knockout because she winds up being an exclamation point. You don't need to kill You need to get them into kill range, and then Bonnie jumps on them to confirm the kill, and you have a 3v2. I think that's really effective. And then Grom is just, I mean, man, Grom's good, dude.
Grom's good, and he does fare pretty well into Barley, I think, until you get into the final moments. I mean, Grom, he's pretty...
You're a Grom believer, aren't you?
I used to be. Grom, he's fallen off just a little bit. I mean, he can get some good damage locked in. Oh my god, it's the Sam from Luminosity. This, I'm here for. I'll point this about Luminosity. Pam, she has a healing super. Chino has a healing gadget. Patchy has a healing super if you run the star power, and why wouldn't you? You'd literally be throwing if you didn't. And Stamina, they have some ways to sort of assassinate enemies. If Bobby gets that super, he can jump in on Chino, but I don't think that's going to really happen. I think Patchy's going to be his personal bodyguard, and this is going to be gruesome for Stamina.
All right, here we are. Jumping on in. Ready, are you ready? I'm ready.
Let's make it happen. Luminosity game.
All right.
Already on the right side, pushing forward with Chino. We see the lane switch, sort of, from Stamina, pushing Bobby over to the right side. Patchy's actually going to go super aggro, trying to get that kill, but unfortunately wasn't able to finish things off. Luminosity's game, rather their push, has run out of steam. Now facing a 2v3, it could already be chalked, but Luminosity Gaming are still going to work for some of these supers.
I think it's important for LG to kind of keep playing. You hit the nail on the head. Try and charge up some of these supers. Round one is just one round. But yeah, that early Sam death is a little bit rough. Like not ultra rough, but a little bit. Chino here, gas coming in. Sands on the left-hand side, does have the super, doesn't want to use it this round, I'm almost positive. So going to try and keep that in the pocket. Bobby walking down Chino, gets it done, son. Sands is able to keep the super, and that's a big deal.
Have to respect Luminosity still trying to make it work, though. Even in the face of the 2v3, they weren't scared to use some supers that they might not get for the next round, especially looking towards Charles for that one, since he doesn't have a super now. But he knows that he can earn it over the course of this round. It really only matters towards the end or when they decide to all make a coordinated push. But it looks like Patchy's strategy, rushing in, is not really going to be effective here. Might have to wait for the final few seconds to make that really work. Or maybe take advantage of the last call coming in now. Chino pushes forward, pushes everyone back, even Zara on the left side. Zara's looking to farm out some of these shots. No contact just yet. Like we said, Grom, he's relatively easy to dodge most of the time, but when you have a lot of projectiles to focus on at once, it does get a bit harder.
Yeah. Patchy right side, getting aggressive. Thought about it. Just thought about it, though. Here he comes now this time, and there he goes now that time. In comes the Bonnie. No! An ineffective super, and now we have the 2-on-2, but the gas makes it a 2-on-1. Czar stuck on the left-hand side. Charles still alive as well. Grom trying to make the thrower happen, and he won't. Dies to the shot from Charles in the gas. And an exciting round two goes the way of Luminosity.
Insane composure there from Luminosity. They were on the brink of defeat. It was two brawlers, both one tap each, and a Pam super, and they still managed to use all the tools in their toolkit to make it work. And hey, after that, Charles still has a gadget to spare, but Chino doesn't have any more healing herbal tonic, which is going to hurt. It was one of the main reasons that Barley was selected here. It's one of the main reasons he's so good right now. Well, also on the right side, have a little bit more sustain.
I was going to touch on the Sands thing. He got caught between two killable targets and like had decision paralysis essentially. Sands has been having a great day, so I don't feel any type of way saying that that's the play you have to make. Sands didn't, and they lost the round because of it. Hope for his sake and his fans that things turn. Super available for Sands as Czar tosses his out immediately. Gas creeping in from the south side. And here comes the push from all three. Stamina kind of stuck in it. Sands has to jump. Doesn't have a target. Stuck in no man's land. Bobby underground. Sands takes one down, but it's not enough.
Moments really there towards the end. Just good old-fashioned slugfest in the very end. It gets a little hectic, but Luminosity Gaming emerged not unscathed, but with 2 brawlers remaining. Definitely a good look for them as they head into the next one. Let's see how things have changed from one game to the next.
Sands playing it safe, but really needs to charge that super. But if Stamina walks up too close, they give Patchy they basically invite Patchy in. And this Sam is like a vampire. He can't show up on his own. He has to be invited in by way of a good scenario.
That's a great way of putting it. I definitely like that analogy. I mean, you have to have the optimal conditions in order to punch in as Sam. Otherwise, just feeding enemy supercharge, putting your team at risk of defeat. Charles is going to be throwing that turret in. Definitely risky. He worked so hard to get that. It was quite easily taken down by Zar, but they have him all cornered. The poison's creeping in. Zar might have to go for the emergency super. Here it comes. Lots of damage onto Charles and a takedown. In fact, Chino's the last man alive. Down goes Sands. Chino's going to try and play inside of that smoke, but the final kooky popper is enough to send him to his grave. Luminosity Gaming now at a deficit.
Stamina wins that round, but Reddy, that's the second time they've been caught in that corner.
Yes.
And I hate it. That is not where you want to be, man. Like, uh-oh. One round here for Stamina. All 3 players on the STMN side with their supers. Just Sam, but I mean that's Sam on LG's side. Oh, this is what I was talking about. Stamina pressed up towards this wall. You see, as soon as Patchy comes forward, Bobby and Sands back off. And then as soon as he leaves, they're allowed to step forward again. Sam is the threat on that right side, finally now switching to the left and seeing if this will make something happen. And it looks like it will. Gas coming in from the bottom side here, ready, set, and Patchy still alive.
Last call active. Sands also taken down. Patch is the last man alive. He's going to go for it. Has to dodge at the shot. No! What? He's not able to. Zark is at full throttle at the moment.
I mean, very, very true. Everything's easier in the rearview mirror, man. Right? Like, but it's like you said. I mean, Grom, I think Tick is similar. They're not that difficult to dodge. But when you're looking where you're shooting, you're looking at other stuff, you're looking at the gas. That's the testament. That's what makes pro players pro. And that's what makes, you know, you just a Power League superstar. Not you, ready, set.
Yeah.
You're a pro. Everybody else.
I'm a legendary one personal best. Don't take what I say as the gospel. But Luminosity Gaming, I would definitely listen to what these guys have to say. We see Patchy rushing up on the right side as that Sam. Once more creating sort of this invisible radius of pressure and influence around himself, but also kind of gathering Sands and Bobby to the feeding frenzy. They want to get this pinch on the guy. They're keeping him at just the perfect range. Sands now receiving that shield. He's also getting a lot of damage too. Patchy caught lacking now on the right side, shut down. Charles is barely alive. He might try and hide here. Almost got away with it too, but still gets taken down. A good kill for Chino on the left, but he knows this one's already over. He has the super in hand. They're going to forfeit the round and head on to the next one.
Man, Zar did so much work that round. Luminosity was distracted by the guys on the right-hand side and just got Grom slammed. Fun stuff. Patchy still on the right-hand side. Sands got to be careful, but now it looks like they're baiting him in a little bit. Bobby has the angle should Patchy step forward too far against Sands. And then once Patchy retreats to the grass, Sands can grab a couple of pot shots. All right, Charles, getting shot up now. Chino has the super available. Gotta watch that one. Especially as the arena gets smaller already. That Barley super gets really dirty.
It's gonna be pretty annoying for Stamina to face against, but they seem to be quite comfortable getting into that back right corner and still fighting their way out of it. Sands is going to kind of detour, though, around the left side. Good dodge of that ground bomb by Patchy. Might actually be taken down. No, not quite. He's working with no health. Kooky Popper in with the combo. And Charles and Chino almost fall immediately after the final bit of damage dealt by the poison.
Yeah.
Teams are incredibly aware of each other's play styles, and really playing unpredictably is going to be part of the strategy for both STMN and Luminosity coming into this match. It is Backyard Bowl, which makes some of these longer range brawlers available and quite viable in that mid-match. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to defending your goal, you don't want to be stuck with something like a Piper.
Fair. And Mr. P
Ding.
is going to be the first selection overall here in the hands of Luminosity Gaming. Crow banned out by Stamina. We don't see a lot of Crow bans, but Crow picked almost all the time in other regions, especially when it comes down to Brawl. Just one of the better brawlers. Slows, damage, etc. And so not allowed to be played this time around. Stamina opting instead for the RT, which I actually really like on Brawl. I think his ability to kind of play both sides is strong.
I want to see if Stamina decide that they want to play this like really long range, because Czar picking RT here is, I think, a very good move. You have so much damage in close range. You're going to be able to defend the goal really effectively. You also outrange Mr. P. So Mr. P, he doesn't get a whole lot of DPS, and he doesn't have like the best range in the grand scheme of things. But once he gets that turret farmed up, then you best bet that any single target brawler is going to be having a bad time. It also blocks out a lot of things that Stamina could go for and makes those available for Luminosity. Something that I see falling off a lot is, well, actually, I don't know. You tell me, how many times have you seen Gene this month?
Haven't seen much Gene. I think there's a lot of other brawlers that kind of just take advantage of his one-trick ponyism. Like a lot of just easy deployable, salty barrel, etc. A lot of just nonsense. And also, I mean, Max is not as high as she used to be, but still just like people can dodge it now. And so Gene still has his spot. I think we will see some. Gene is just a niche pick, as he should be, in my opinion. And I think we'll see some of the specialists still opt for the Genie. But for now, comps like Stu, Pam, and Mr. P should be something you're a little bit more used to. Shout out to Charles juicing up.
All right, Genie stays in the bottle for this month, but Charles now going to be selecting the Stu. I like the pick. I think it'll actually be quite effective into Sands. They have similar range, and also Charles will be able to get out of the range of some of those shots. Sands probably not going to be able to pump out too much DPS, and that provides the advantage for Stu. A pretty consistent final pick here from Carl. Also gives him a lot of movement towards the other side. I think will also be immobile enough to deal with Mr. P and get rid of that turret relatively quickly, since his shot is piercing damage after all. So
True.
Top-down analysis of the draft, at least on my part, it's kind of hard to tell who has the advantage here, and maybe that's the way it ought to be, all coming down to mechanical implementation and execution of the brawler compositions.
Yeah, I think so. I like it. That is a good round out. And honestly, I don't have much to add. I want to see how this one works out. Stu on the left side versus the Bobby. And wow, Bobby just doing work already. And that's really what I like about Squeak on these long range maps, particularly with a little bit of cover, is usually I point to area denial. But Squeak's ability to shoot around corners is really big. And although he gets walked down by Patchy there, wow, Patchy's teammates are getting owned. And Czar gets the goal score, the 2v2 one up north. And Bobby says, fine, man, he's chasing me. Score the ball, please.
GG. Easy. Salmon make it look easy. A pass up the left side. No interception necessary as it bounces off the wall, but a takedown certainly is a good look. Charles also has the turret up. Immediately taken down by Bobby, landing every single one of those shots from the super on it. But that corner on the right side is oppressive. The pressure is really on. Patchy might be able to have this one. Bobby, not really that concerned. He knows that Sans is going to be responding. It's going to be tough to deal with. Patchy farms up another super off of it, and he might have breakthrough ready to go as well. Could just be waiting for the perfect opportunity we really haven't seen. what gadget he's bringing to the Brawl just yet. Luminosity Gaming, they're gradually falling back. Charles needs another super before he can really commit. Big stuff. Czar coming in with a lot of damage, and Charles, he has the porters ready to go once again. Thankfully, his teammates will be responding just in time to defend the goal.
Little bit too slow there.
Yeah.
To find the goal opportunity. I think if Czar had the super, might have been able to pass it up quicker. Coulda, shoulda, woulda though. Ball recentered. Czar just doing work. Wins left side, wins the mid. Not enough time to just walk it in. Just kidding. Goal. Lights out today. But this set, particularly, the Carl's on fire.
Certainly is. I mean, Czar, he's just him on the Carl. And Luminosity Gaming are struggling to deal with it. Okay, some lane confusion here. Czar now switching over to the right side to take on Charles. Patchy on the left. Might be fine with facing Bobby on the squeak. Certainly seems to be weaving around these projectiles so far. So Czar is looking for a good opportunity, it seems like, to move in versus the Mr. P and Chino on that Pam. Already taken down. Could be a pass at the right side. Still need to see a takedown. Patchy over on the right. Trying to fend these guys off. He doesn't have too much DPS though. Super out. Looks like a misplay. Patchy now taken down the right. Almost a tag on a Chino. Trying to stay alive, but it's a team wipe. And an easy first goal for STMN.
Strong brawl there. Doing it the old-fashioned way, just killing everybody and scoring off of the opening. Teams have been very creative today when it comes to Brawl Ball, and that is not how Stamina are playing it. They're picking Carl like it's 2021, and they're just killing folks. Not a good enough opportunity to score just there yet. Patchy's not allowed to walk on the right side, says Squeak. Because of that, teammates combine and get a kill. Mr. P with the Mr. P pin. I like it. LG are cornering the ball already. They need to get more aggressive.
I want to make sure that this is not available to STMN for sort of the layup, the pass up the right side, and then a score into the goal. They need to get that control back first. And they're sort of inching towards that stage. Patchy especially looking for the next super. Sands able to resist a lot of the damage from Charles. Eventually does go down. Luminosity Gaming have to win this mid-fight. It's almost looking unlikely, though. The slow onto Stu is also going to send him down for a bit longer. Czar, also on the right side, continues to push up. Take down of the turret. It's an easy super in for Czar. It's just so free. The Carl into the Pam. But Patchy comes in just in the nick of time to take him down. Sands also taken down. Got to see a lot of collaboration. Get rid of Bobby. Need to see some kind of super up all the way to the goal. Pass up to Chino, up to Patchy. It's got to be one of them. Got to see something here. It's 1-0. Need to see a goal. Sands, no super, but no, he's still able to fend it off. Charles gets the walk through. No! Yes! There it is! And we're going to overtime.
The last second opportunity, LG saves themselves. Literally, Stamina tournament point. And we go to an overtime. Luminosity clinging for dear life. Sands has a super. Sands doesn't have much HP though. Needs an opportunity, and then they can super shoot it in. Czar and Sands right side, and it's smart move from Luminosity to put the ball on the left side. 25 seconds to go. Czar taking down the defenders, and here comes Sands. Pushes, scores, goal for Stamina, Dame for Stamina, tournament for Stamina.
And Czar now replenishing all that health. Yeah, get the sleep stimulator in, pop the first Sandy gadget, and have a good time. Well done for the boys in green, and a great effort from Luminosity Gaming. I mean, stellar stuff across the board.